Shalom, all praise be unto Yahweh, Bashim Shai, Bashim Kakadash, double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Most on that well. Shalom to the elect, man. Yeah, a few days ago as well, I had a spiritual encounter, man. And basically I was in a store, shopping. I was buying like strawberries. I was in the fruit section buying strawberries, and a man just looked at me and locked eyes with me for a few seconds. Then he said, "How are you?" And I said, "I'm all right, thank you. I'm all right. I'm doing all right." Then he said, "We're all gonna be all right one day." I was like, "Yeah, I understand that." Then he said, "I'm a spiritual scientist." And that kind of like raised my spiritual alertness. I was like, "Wow, man. Okay, something's going on now. This is spiritual." He said I'm a spiritual scientist. I never heard that term before. Then he was telling me things are gonna happen, man. He was saying like there's gonna be another. I gotta use code words. There's another V that's gonna harm the population. If you know what I'm talking about. He was talking about another pestilence, should I say, that's gonna harm the world, and multiple people will pass, right? And he was actually talking about the elites. He was saying, Rothschilds, Bilderbergs, all of that. I said, yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, I know them too. Yeah, yeah. So everything he was saying, I was basically like complimenting it. And he was saying we live in this 3D world where people are just like robots. And I said, yeah, like the movie Matrix. We live in the Matrix. He said, yeah, that's right. That's good. And then you will say, what else did he say? Just going off by memory. Yeah, he was saying stuff. If you can download the app. I think it was called Discord or something like that. He said there's like WhatsApp. I'm in a group called Warriors Paradise and stuff like that. But he was saying some bugged out stuff. He was saying, the reptilian stuff like that. And I said, oh, you listen to David Icke, right? He's like, yeah, David Icke and all of that. I said, cool. So obviously, certain things we saying was like off and bugged out. And he was also talking about, the Bill Gates, the great depopulation and stuff like that. Yeah, I said, yeah, I know about that, Bill Gates and stuff like that. So he was basically saying, wow, man, he was basically like surprised. He was kind of like surprised that I knew certain things. That's because we're in the truth, We know certain things, we study certain things, we research certain things. So he was like, wow, you got your head screwed on, man. You know a lot of things. But it was spiritual because out of all people, he only spot me. He locked eyes with me. He had a beard and stuff like that as well. He probably came from work. He had his high vis on and stuff like that. So, yeah, so it just reminded me of this scripture, man. This is Hebrews 13, verse 2. Brothers have and will get spiritual encounters. It could be just a stranger that the Spirit of the Lord just jumps on to speak to you, to say spiritual things, or it could be a literal angel. Yeah. Hebrews 13 and 2, be not forgetful to entertain strangers. So I entertained the stranger. I didn't brush him off. A lot of these people in the world, they'll brush people off because they're bots, man. They're carnal, they can't engage in conversation, especially London. I speak for London. That's where us brothers live. People are just bots, man. They can't hold a conversation. They're very conservative. They're not really open. They're not. They don't really talk much. Everybody's rushing to work and stuff like that. Or they're just talking about fluff, talking about entertainment. Or talking about things that they've been manipulated to think about, from the news or something like that. But anyways, be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware. You know what I'm saying? And could be angel, could not be, but the main when you look at the word angel, there's a what's the word? Angel is also synonymous with messenger. Yeah. Yeah. So the Lord can use someone. He can use a stranger or anybody or an angel, an actual angel, to deliver you a message. And what was the message that I got from that? Yeah. You know, it's a sign of mercy as well. Also, because out of all people in the store, the Lord chose this man to speak to me. So that's a sign of mercy to, or like to encouragement. Yo, keep it up. Do the right thing. You know, don't play games with this truth. Do the work. So that I got that from it as well. And also number two, which is we're at the end. The Lord used someone to tell me, to remind me, yo, we're at the end. You know, and the guy said, hey, I've been censored. And when he was talking to me, locking eyes to me, he came close. You know, he asked me what's my name. He told me his name, and he was looking left and right as if someone was watching him. You know, that was the spirit, and it happened very quick. We had a decent convo of about 5 minutes. But he was looking left and right. Everybody in the shop was looking confused. All these bots, these Edomites and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, the spirit got intense, man, because he was basically talking about prophecy, things that's in the scriptures, man. He mentioned pestilence. Is that not in the scriptures? Let me get it. Matthew 24, verse 3. Then I'll jump. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? He was also talking about war, you know, Russia and stuff like that. So verse 6, look, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. And guess what? Russia and Ukraine, it's not a rumor, is it? Because there's attacks and missiles and bombs. It's right before people's eyes, man. But it's just that it's not spread out to everybody else. Not too much people involved. And NATO's not involved yet. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines. You know, we were talking about cost of living as well. And the main thing he mentioned was the pestilence. You know, he said there's going to be a pestilence where it's going to deduct the population, man. And earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So guess what? He was speaking prophecy. Yeah. You may not know the Bible as well as we do, but nevertheless, he spoke prophecy. He spoke things that were said in the scriptures that will happen. And it's gonna happen. Yeah. You talk about the elites. Where's the elites in the scriptures? Psalm 64. Psalm 64 verse 2, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, the secret societies, the elites, man. Rothschilds, Bilderbergs. Yeah, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, yeah? They have plans of wickedness, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows. Even bitter words, man. Yeah? Yeah, they attack you with, what's it called? With psyops, manipulation of the news. They own these news stations, man. Yeah? Put out slander, you know, put us in a bad light, you know, give us bad names, give Israel bad names. They may shoot in secret at the perfect, suddenly do they shoot at him, and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune on laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? So their purpose is to encourage evil and to lay traps on Israel, especially, and the whole world. Yeah. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Yeah. All these technologies that's being used, yeah, it's really an attack on people, to enslave the people, to control the people, to monitor the people, because they see you as cattle. Yeah, and all these things have been searched out many years ago. Yeah, their technology, their weapons have been perfected many years ago. Yeah. Yeah. They want the control of your mind, man. They want to take that God gene away from you. Yeah. They want you to be a cyborg. Yeah. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. The mind basically is deep. So they like to dive into psychology, man. Yeah. how the mind works, how to manipulate the mind. That's what they're about. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly shall they be wounded. And you know, the scripture talks about being consumed by the spirit of the mouth of the Lord, fire, roughly paraphrasing. And that's the prophets exposing these elites, exposing Esau, man, through the word of the Most High Yahweh Shemashai, the scriptures. But nevertheless, that man, that stranger, or that angel, he spoke words of the end of the world. He spoke about the elites. Yeah, the things he was saying was true, most of it, you know. Yeah. But why did we have this conversation? Man's goings of the Lord, man. Yeah, it's the Lord. It's the spirit of the Lord, man. And I thank Yahweh Shemashai, Barak Yahweh Shemashai, Kadash, for that spiritual moment. That's gonna stick with me, man. Lord willing, and Lord willing, motivate me to push even more, man. But yeah, man, brothers are gonna get spiritual encounters with angels and just strangers. It could be a heathen, it could be a Jake or whatever. But anyways, with that, Shalom.